Today we're doing something a little bit different, because this story I thought was a really good one for the days that we've been having in the garden. I hope you've been out in the garden and been doing some bits and bobs. I've been in the garden, I've been quite busy. I've been growing some plants, and I've got my strawberries growing over there. I've got some lettuce in the little cold frame. I've got a couple of tomatoes growing. I've got more strawberries in the hanging baskets and lots of herbs here on the ground. And I've been having lots of fun trying to get my stuff to grow. And if you remember at school, right outside the classroom, we've got loads of strawberries out there. And by the time we get back to school, they'll start to be in flower, and then very soon they'll have fruit after. And that'll be really nice. We can tuck in and eat those lovely juicy strawberries. Well, today's story is about a gardener. And the name of the gardener is Harvey. Harvey the Gardener. Now Harvey really likes to do some gardening. And this is a really nice story because it sort of gives us a bit of instruction about how we go about doing some gardening. I thought it was quite a useful one, because I've got a little thing I'd like you to do at the end. Let's get to that point when we get there, but let's find out about Harvey first. So here we go. Harvey the Gardener, and it's by somebody called Lars Clinting. The plant on Harvey's windowsill has wilted. It looks terrible. He'll have to get a new one. What kind should he buy? Tricky. It does look quite dead here. The tree's looking quite good, got nice leaves on it, but the poor plant inside doesn't look very healthy. Harvey can't decide. But wait, what are those little white things rolling across the floor? And you might not be able to see them from there, but there are a few little white things hopping around. If you look very carefully, you might just see what they are. Harvey follows the trail and finds Chip. Chip has been shopping, but he's had too much to carry. He dropped the bag of white beans that Harvey planned to cook for lunch, and they've rolled everywhere. That's what they were beans. It was alright though. It's given Harvey an idea. That's it! He'll grow beans on the windowsill. Hurrah! So Harvey looks quite happy. He's got an idea now about what he's going to plant. That evening, Harvey puts the beans they're going to plant into a little bowl of water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Harvey explains that beans grow even faster if they soak overnight. Then he goes to bed. Chip is too excited to sleep. Look at Chip, he's actually sitting there watching the bowl with the beans in. I don't think a lot's going to happen. The next morning, Harvey and Chip go to the garden shed. They're searching for something. There they are looking around the shed. There's the wheelbarrow. We've got a wheelbarrow at school, haven't we? Big plant pots, a brush to keep things tidy, some bamboo canes so things can grow up them. Lots of tools on this side as well. Look, got a pair of secateurs, cutters, and they've got some logs here, and they've got a couple of watering cans. Plants need water, don't they? And seeds. Here it is. Clever Chip. It was on the shelf all along. Harvey's gardening book will tell them everything they need to know about growing beans. So this is clearly where they get all their advice from a book. Books are great. A small trowel, 2 broken bits of pot that are called crocks, and a bag of potting compost. Harvey covers the hole in the bottom of each pot with one of the crocks so that the compost won't fall out. Then he fills the pots with the compost. See if there's any left in the bag, Chip. Chip's gone in there to have a look. Now Harvey fetches the soaked beans. They're almost twice as big as they were before. So they've soaked up all that water and they're swollen. They're really big now. Next, he sharpens a stick and draws a red line on it. Harvey pokes the stick into the pot 3 times to make 3 holes in the soil. He pushes the stick right down to the red line to make sure the holes will be deep enough. So you can imagine he gets his stick and he drops it into the hole until it's the right depth. Chip drops a bean into each hole and covers it with soil. But hold on, 3 beans in each pot makes 6. There are 4 beans left. Don't worry, Chip. Harvey has a plan. That's what Harvey's thinking about. Now they need a watering can. Chip fills it up and sprinkles the pots with water. Not too much, Chip, or the beans will drown. Oh dear, we don't want them to drown, do we? While Chip is busy watering, Harvey sneaks outside with the leftover beans. He plants them in a flower bed next to the wall where it is sunny and warm. He's put them straight into the ground right next to the wall. Chip can't wait for the beans to grow. At first nothing happens. He waters and watches and waits for nearly a whole week. Then one morning, just when he's nearly ready to give up, I wonder what could have happened. What do you think happened? He's been waiting for those beans to do something, and he's going to pop over and hopefully... Look what has happened! Chip is so excited! All 3 of his beans have grown into little plants. In Harvey's pot, only 2 have come up. So Harvey planted 3, but only 2 have come up, so one of them hasn't quite made it. Oh dear. Never mind, at least he's got 2. Harvey fetches some bamboo sticks from the shed. Carefully, he and Chip push them into the pots. Now the beans have something to climb while they grow. Every day they water the pots. The plants grow and grow. So you can see they started out very small, and as they grew they started to climb up these big bamboo canes. And grow until the whole window is filled with leaves. Harvey is thrilled to see the beautiful flowers, but Chip is more excited by the beans. You can see the beans there, that Chip's pointing at them. The beans are there because that's what they grow from the flowers, and if you look here there's a bee, and the bee is pollinating the flowers, and that's what makes the beans be able to grow. Well, to start. Together they pick the longest, fattest bean pods. There are several beans in each pod. The beans have tough white skins, but inside they are bright green. Together, Harvey and Chip wash and peel the beans. It's not easy to take off those tough white skins. At last they are finished, and the beans are ready to cook. Into the water they go with a little salt. They boil them for a couple of minutes, then drain them and put the warm beans on plates. Harvey adds butter to make them even nicer. Nice. What a big reward from 6 little beans. Beautiful plants on the windowsill all summer, and then a feast as well. But look, Chip, what's growing over there in the flower bed? Do you remember what he planted in the flower bed? He had 4 left over, didn't he? Remember what happened to those things? Let's have a look. Wow! There are beans growing outside too. Chip has no idea where they've come from, and Harvey doesn't tell him. Now they can have beans tomorrow too. Yummy. I like that because I like the idea of some people planting something, and here we had Harvey planting some beans, and he just put the seeds into some soil, and then sometime later, a couple of months had passed by, but sometime later they grew and they grew and they grew, and eventually he had some beans and they could actually eat them. How fantastic is that? Love that idea. I like the idea of it being a cycle. You know, we talked about the life cycle at school, and we were talking about caterpillars turning into butterflies. Well, it's a bit like seeds turning into plants, and then guess what, eventually they turn back into seeds. Very clever. I really like that one. Now, something I want you to do for me this week. So reading about Harvey really inspired me. I thought, let's do some planting, and let's get everybody at home doing some planting as well. So as I said earlier, I managed to go and get some seeds and some pots and some compost from the garden centre earlier, and I thought, let's see if we can take some of that to people's houses and get them to plant their own stuff. So I bought some seeds, and rather than buying some beans, we could do beans, but I thought, let's do something really pretty. Let's brighten the place up. Let's make ourselves feel really happy. And nothing says happiness to me more than beautiful big sunflowers. So I thought, let's buy some sunflowers. I bought this mixture of sunflowers. We've got different types. Some of them grow really tall, taller than me, taller than like the ceiling. They're really high. Some of them only grow a little bit, about that high, not very big at all. So I thought I'd buy a mixture of them, but they've all got beautiful flowers, lots of golden colours, lots of yellows, and these ones at the end here are really special. They've got a very browny reddy colour, and I think they're quite special too. So I thought, let's do that. Let's plant some seeds, and we can have a bit of a competition at home and see who can do the best. So let's get started. So, what do we need? First of all, we need a pot. The pot is going to contain the soil, so we get some soil next. Now I've got some compost here. I'm going to put a little bit of compost in the pot, not a huge amount, and you don't need to have a trowel. You could use your fingers, it's nothing, it's only a little bit of mud. Dog's here, and I put a little bit in there, not too much, just enough to about fill it, just at the top. Push it down a little bit so it doesn't all fall around when you're moving about. So now I've got my pot, and it's got enough soil in it to plant my seed. So I get my seeds, and I will send home a couple of seeds for you, maybe 3, I don't know, 2 or 3, maybe even 4. So I get myself a seed or 2. I'm going to put 2 seeds into my pot. And I'm not going to put a stick in mine. I'm basically going to put them on the top of the soil, like that. 1, 2. And I'm going to push them in with my finger. But I'm going to go to just about there. First bit of my finger, not really deep, just a little bit. Just there and just there. That's it, it's in. Now the next thing that seeds need to germinate, and to help them to germinate, is water. So I'm going to get my watering can, which is quite big actually, and I'm going to put a little bit of water in. I don't want to drown it, I'm going to put a little bit in there. That'll do. Now the water is soaked into the compost, and it will go into our pot as well. Our pots are made of clay, I think, so they're sort of fibre clay mix, so they'll just soak up the water as well. Now what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to take it in the house. I'm not going to leave it outside, it's a little bit too cold for that. But I'm going to put it on a little tray or a sauce or something where the water isn't going to go everywhere. Because when I put water on it tomorrow, I don't want the water coming out the bottom and pouring all over the worktop or over the windowsill. So I'm going to put it on a little tray. So I'm going to use, I've got an old pasta pot here, pasta sauce pot. If I put it inside there, it's perfectly safe, it's all inside, it's all going to be absolutely fine. So then I can put that in the house, put it on the windowsill, and hopefully the warmth of the sun will help the soil to get warm, and that will help the seed want to germinate. I keep putting water on it every day, not too much, don't want to drown it, and then hopefully in about a week or 10 days something will start to grow out of the top. Let's hope so. So for the next few days I'm going to try and get the seeds and the soil and the pots to you so you can start to grow your own beautiful sunflowers in the garden. If you've grown anything else at home, let us know. Take some photos. Let me see what amazing things are going on in your garden. Until we meet again guys, be safe, be good, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Bye bye.